There's a lot of kids that want to play. And there's kids that want to become a professional snowboarder.
That is how you do it!
Every time I would go to a contest, I was going there to win it.
He's putting on a show now.
It's not about talent, it's about motivation.
When you want something, you have to work for it.
It all comes down to this, kid.
Maxence was the one that is ready to work hard, you know?
I grew up in Bromont, and I still live here today, actually. It's close to the airport, so it's super convenient for me when I have to travel. And there's a mountain in Bromont where everything started. I just feel like it's a really big fit with me.
We started skiing when we were really young, so my parents put me into skis when I was 3 years old. And they did the same for my sister and my brother.
He was following me with leash so I don't fall or don't go straight the mountain, you know.
So we grew up going at the mountain basically every weekend.
It was kind of our family sport.
Everything was about skiing and everything was about doing sports with the family.
Only a couple weeks before Christmas, when I was 8, I was skiing with my best friend from my neighborhood. And then 3 weeks later, he got a snowboard for Christmas. So I actually tried his snowboard and actually fell in love with it. So I asked my parents if I could get a snowboard as well. And their reaction was not really what I was expecting.
My parents were like, well, we're a ski family. Like, I think snowboard is like too dangerous for you, so I'm not sure it's a good thing. So Max had to push a bit my parents to get into snowboard.
I had this idea to start mowing the lawn of every one of my neighbors.
He would wake up in the morning and he would have made a poster by himself, like handwritten, big land, $10. Small land, $4, and he wrote wheat eater, $2. He was really going to give the neighbor a very good deal.
Actually got like 8 to 10 contracts, and then I was able to gain enough money the next winter to buy my own setup, and I've put the skis away since that time.
When he wasn't snowboarding, he would build jump and box and rails for the snowboard. He would go to the arena with one of his friends that was older, and they would pack snow from the arena.
Snowboarding became my passion from this moment. At 15 years old, I subscribed myself on Facebook, and I started following my idols. And this is when I learned that they were traveling the world, making money, and not going to school for snowboarding every day. I was like, well, that's the dream, you know?
He contacted me, he was a kid back then, he was 15 years old. He's like, Max, I want to be coached by you. I saw what you did with Seb Toutan and I want to be part of it. He was a kid from Bromont that rides in the mountain, you know, so nobody knew him. I was like, just go with my coach and we'll see if you have potential. He was doing some 1080s and stuff at 15 years old, you know.
We were actually really lucky because here in Bromont they have lights all over the mountain. I was able to go out there and do like a couple laps before going to bed. So I could snowboard during the evening of every week and during the weekend as well.
It was really like the first time from what I remember that he was really committed to something.
Max had that drive, like he really wanted to be a professional snowboarder. Like he was very serious and he was there to listen and he was there to learn, you know.
I really wanted to achieve my dream. I started doing more and more contests.
Yeah, boy.
At 16 years old, I was able to go to the shakedown in Saint-Sauveur. I ended up being third on the podium over there, and I was invited to other contests in the world, and then it never really stopped from there.
When Max told my parents that he wanted to go pro, my parents were not surprised because like we always knew Max wanted to do that, but they were a bit not sure on how to put him to the next level.
So the deal was finish high school, then you get 1 year off and prove yourself. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, you have to go back to school. I never went back to school.
Man, you crazy.
2013, I laid the first backside triple cork in slopestyle ever.
In 2014, he got double gold, slopestyle and big air, and plus he beat a new record, being the first one to do 2 triple corks in a slopestyle run.
Never been done in competition, ever.
We always talk about what he wants to do, right? Do you need to do that to win? You know, like Max always wants to win. So every time I ask him the question, do you want to do good or you want to win? He's like, Max, I want to win.
1, 2, 3, 4. That was a quadruple underflip.
At that point, it's not about winning the contest. It's just about beating a new record and do something crazy so the fans are like, wow! You know, you see a triple cork, you're stoked. You see a quad, you're like, wow, that's next level.
So I just really like to push the limits. You know, when you're scared of something and you achieve it, you have a great feeling. When you achieve something that you know you're the only one on Earth doing this thing, that's an amazing feeling.
I have unfortunately been diagnosed with a cancer a couple of weeks ago. It's been hard news to take for me, my family and friends.
My mom called me and she said, okay, you really have to talk to Maxence. He doesn't want me to tell you, but you have to talk to him right now. He's at the hospital. Yeah. So I called my brother and then he told me, okay, so they made the biopsy and I do have cancer and it's all over my body in the lymph. And I think he didn't realize all the impact that cancer would have on his career at that time.
In my mind, you know, like when you hear cancer, I kind of see death, you know, and or weakness. But Max was like, no, it's a good cancer, you know, like he was so positive about it. And it was like, man, I was kind of crying on the phone. I wasn't crying, but like my eyes got all watery. And I was like, man, are you sure, you know, like you feel good? Like, and he's like, yeah, no worries. I'll be back in 6 months. And he was just talking about like, I'm not going to be able to compete this year. And well, I think you're not going to be able to compete anymore, you know? Like, he's like, no. Just this winter and next winter I'll be back, blah, blah, blah.
I realized couple days and weeks later that you know, life is more important than snowboarding, obviously. So of course at that point I had to put snowboard away and focus on battling cancer for 6 months. I had treatments every 2 weeks. It was by far the biggest competition I've ever done.
I remember during that treatment that Max would go to Whistler to train. I was working and I called him and he said, oh, I just finished snowboarding. And he's like, honestly, it's so hard. Like, I don't have any cardio. I tried jump twice and it's so difficult. And it was the first time that my brother would reach out to me to tell me, okay, it's really not easy. Max came up with the idea of doing a documentary of the treatment and of what he was gonna go through. And when he brought that to us, we thought it was a good idea because it was gonna be the project that Max would have for the winter. Because you know, when you're sick, you kind of need to attach yourself to an idea or a project that is gonna make you, okay, so I'm sick, but I'm still gonna do something, you know? So I think the documentary really helped Max to go through.
Of course I had down days. I had many down days, that's for sure. And it's totally normal, but I was trying to be really as much positive as I could. And I think that's one of the things that helped me get it through it.
I jumped in the boat with him just to make sure, okay, man, you're confident? I'm confident as well, you know? Get done with your chemio and come back, we'll train hard and we'll make sure you win the first event that you do. And that first event was X Games in Norway.
Max Parrot. What more can Max do?
It's been such a journey to get here. Will it be a storybook ending for Max Parrot in his return to competitive snowboarding? With that, Max Parrot wins gold.
The most cliche thing I could possibly think of saying is you can't write this, but you can't write this, ladies and gentlemen.
When he landed his jump in the final and we knew he would win, I jumped 3 foot in the air and I was so happy for him.
I've been living a nightmare for the past months, and all I was dreaming was to be here today. I only had 2 months to get back in shape for this, which was kind of almost impossible, you know. Honestly, getting this here is like, it's like the candy at the end, you know. It's like, whew.
By not snowboarding a lot this past year, having my passion taken away from me, in these moments you really realize how much you love doing your passion, and it was a tough time for me not to be snowboarding for months. Even though I've been to X Games, I won these games in Oslo, I still feel very hungry, more than ever.
He's still young, and he's still young in his mind, and he still has goals, you know, and he's still progressing. That's what's beautiful, you know. Like we just learned a new trick this summer, so it's looking pretty good for X Games here now.